The most important energy state in the country is not waiting for ideological permission from Republican leadership in Washington to build more fuel-free wind and solar power. It is responding to market signals and demand for reliable power at the lowest cost. Earlier in the decade, Texas added a mix of gas, wind, and other power sources. But in recent years, Texas has built more wind, solar, and battery storage, some of the cheapest ways to generate reliable power. Today, most new Texas electricity capacity is coming from solar, batteries, and wind. Texas simply followed the market. Texas has not walked away from natural gas. It just recognized that the cheapest, fastest, most scalable new electricity sources are increasingly wind, solar, and batteries, with gas still playing an important role. That is what an all-of-the-above strategy actually looks like. One of Governor Stitt's biggest accomplishments was positioning Oklahoma as a major wind power state. As the size of our state's wind generation grew, Oklahoma was starting to draw sizable investments in turbine and battery manufacturing. Our 41% of electricity generated from wind also helped protect consumers from the kind of rapid electricity cost increases seen in states without the same level of wind resources. Oklahoma's wind has already proven that fuel-free power can work here. The next leg should be solar because Oklahoma has the sunlight, the land, the energy workforce, and rural communities that will benefit from solar development. The U.S. Energy Information Administration says Oklahoma ranks 6th in the nation in solar power potential, the same rank our state holds for oil and gas production. That means solar is not a fringe opportunity. It is one of Oklahoma's underused competitive advantages. Utility-scale solar is already one of the lowest-cost sources of new electricity generation. The updated chart shows existing solar in the $38 to $78 per megawatt-hour range. As newer solar cells with roughly 30% higher efficiency continue moving into production, a simple illustrative calculation puts new solar closer to $29 to $60 per megawatt-hour. The direction is clear. Solar keeps getting more competitive. Oklahoma State University presented research at a Senate interim study showing what commercial solar could mean for our state. The study identified 3,877 megawatts of solar capacity in Oklahoma's Southwest Power Pool Q. OSU estimated those projects could generate roughly $11.2 billion in total economic impact, including $1.15 billion in landowner payments and $2.13 billion in ad valorem tax revenues. Of that, about $1.46 billion could go to local school districts. Opponents often suggest solar will consume Oklahoma farmland. But OSU's numbers tell a different story. Building all 3,877 megawatts of solar capacity in the queue would require about 28,236 acres, roughly 44 square miles. That sounds large until you compare it with Oklahoma's agricultural land. OSU estimated it would represent only 0.08% of Oklahoma agricultural land, less than 0.1%. Solar does not have to mean choosing between farming and power. In many cases, agrivoltaic design can allow land to keep working through grazing, hay production, pollinator habitat, or other agricultural uses under or between solar panels. It is not magic. It requires raised panels, proper spacing, fencing, water access, and thoughtful site planning. But ranchers already understand this land. If any state should be able to figure out how to combine energy production and agricultural production, it is Oklahoma. The real question is not whether Oklahoma land should produce agriculture or energy. The question is why landowners should be blocked from doing both. Republican politicians say they believe free markets and that competition will deliver lower costs for consumers. Good. Then let power sources compete. Oklahoma should build the mix that wins on cost and reliability, not the mix Washington politicians prefer because it protects favored industries. Landowners should also be allowed to compete. If a farmer or rancher can earn lease income from solar while keeping land in productive use, state politicians should pass legislation to help them not stand in the way. Oklahoma does not have to choose between being an oil and gas state and competing in the future electric economy. We can do both, but we cannot do that by ignoring the new economics of power generation. Wind proved Oklahoma could compete. Solar should be the next leg. Texas is moving. Colorado is moving. The market is moving. Oklahoma should stop waiting on Washington and start building the lowest cost, most reliable grid our future requires. Read the full article at wlangdon.substack.com.